I do not predict that I'll make any money on. Nice daily chart, but it was a sub penny when it was, a decent entry down here near 0.008. Obviously, I was not watching it there, but yeah, it was actually a really nice entry over 0.008. This is no longer the area that I make money in. I talked about it earlier on LKNCY. This is not where I make my money when it goes straight up midday. This midday session, I see this coming down a lot harder than it goes up any further. Could be wrong, but I'm not sure. And I'm just not going to fill any shares at 81. I guarantee it. There's no way I fill any shares at 81. Trying to, though. I got a couple. Wow. Well, so I threw in another 3 orders of 5,000 shares. I only filled 5 of those. So I'm sitting at a 25,000 share average. I'm not going to add into this massive move straight through quite yet. I'd like to see it pull back. Eventually this thing should dip, or if it doesn't, I'll take the single. Even though I know what's going to happen in the end when this thing gets going, I have a really hard time changing my process in chasing these plays. It's just bad discipline. It creates bad habits. I don't want to do that kind of stuff. But we're right through the 81s without any problem. We're starting to get some of these volume perks. This is a beautiful move here, 82 cents. If I'm going to add 82 right now, it'll be small, probably no more than another 5,000 or so. But I kind of want to wait it out. I'd like to see it create this nice trigger through 82, and then that should really get us to 84, 85, 86 later today if it's really going to be a real setup. LKNCY is very challenging to sit on my hands and watch this play go without me. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's very challenging to fill on this thing. I'm lucky to have 25 right now. This is going to hurt for a couple of days. I won't even lie to you, just because it's such a beautiful play. This is 1,000% my bread and butter. Unfortunately, I had a very important wedding to be at for my good friend and was just not home in time to attack this setup with confidence. I only had 3,000 shares on the break of 35, and trading mobile after what happened the other day, I was afraid of getting stuck in something down lower. My internet wasn't great where I was at anyway, so I just said fuck it. I'd rather miss out on some big profits than to lose big and put myself in a deep hole to start the month. It's just not my, me. I'm a bitch. Let me see. I did try and scalp LK through $4 a share there. It didn't really work out much. I made like $70, but it did have a nice little move through the high threes, and then it kind of topped out for a long time at 404. So nothing that I'm really interested in. No gambling. That's not fun. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of a loser. I do actually like gambling in the casino. It's just not here. But yep, I've taken I used to have 0 rules and 0 discipline, and now I think I might have the most out of most people. I don't know. I'm definitely up there with my cowardness. Yeah, I like that one. So yeah, LK is no longer a watch for me. Going back to ENZC, this is kind of that tree limb type play where I anticipate it snapping off at some point. The further it goes, the weaker it's going to be, and the harder the snap is going to be, and I just don't want to be there for the fall. AXXA is something I'm keeping my eye on just because it has a catalyst. Very illiquid, volume's not all that impressive, had a perk. Probably not going to make money or trades on this at all. LAECF, I will let this one develop just because it is a metals play, a battery play, and it does have a history of multi-day spiking, as Jack pointed out. I wish there was a catalyst. I don't really know if any of the other plays are really moving, so me, I'd like to have a reason why so I can sit on it for a day or two if I need to. MMEDF, another one of my favorite plays just because it is just such a good trigger stock. I will be watching this thing and how it does down here in the 70 level. 0.69 would obviously be my main risk into the close if we were to get a move through 71, 72. pretty straightforward there, nothing crazy. And then obviously NWBO is just turning out to be a beauty. So now that we've halted here at the previous highs of 82 cents, I would be more than willing to take an ad at 82 if we got the opportunity. Fills are a bitch, like we said. ENZC is 3 multi-day runs, so maybe if it gaps tomorrow, possible buy near the open. Not my setup, not my way of trading, but definitely a possibility. There is a part of me that needs to adapt at some point and learn how to trade these on day two. But like I said before, I'm still in the business of growing a small account, and I just don't really feel like I'm ready to adapt too much yet. LKNCY, I'm a little bit kicking myself. I watched this whole thing this morning. I got up because I was excited to see it play out. I was hoping for a dip. I saw how good the bids were at 52, 53, 54, and I still didn't jump in on a day two, which is probably a pretty bad move on my part, but that's just me being out of my comfort zone in that last part of the trading day. And I just hesitate. I've been trying really hard. It's actually more, I'm proud of myself for not clicking the buttons, even though it would have worked out really well. Most of the time, I don't make money on this day two morning spike if I'm not long from the previous day anyways. So besides that, I don't think I see too much else. I would say my top 3 plays obviously are NWBO. Then it goes MMEDF. And then I would probably say LAACF after my next one. I don't think I'm missing too much after that. If I am, please correct me now before I hop off. Yeah, I like this MMEDF daily chart. I've been looking at it for a couple of days, but I wasn't sure what was going to happen. But I didn't even read the catalyst. We have a catalyst, volume perk, pretty good volume perk too. So that's a sign that there's still some things going on there. Doesn't look like we got too many other stocks to talk about. And what I'm saying I'm not going to make money on ENZC is just because that I know myself. Once we get from this to this in an hour and a half, I'm no longer successful, and my win percentage is no longer where I like it to be. So I've been trying to stay away from this type of play. If this thing convincingly breaks out through, what was the previous high? 118. And it keeps going to 113, 4, 5. I can live with missing that play without any problems at all. So personally, for me, the first couple of days started out slow. I missed LKNCY, so rather than starting out with a couple $1,000s in profits, I'm still sitting at that break-even mark, and that's fine. We got plenty of days left in the market. I'm not going to rush anything. I'm not going to force anything. Just going to keep letting these plays come to me. As you can see, these end-of-day plays are still they're coming about pretty much every day, if not every other day. So keep your minds right. Don't rush into anything. NWBO is my number 1 play today, and I'm willing to size in a little differently just because it's such a hard stock to fill on. Still a little liquid, but I like the price action so far. So I'll hop on later if anything actually works out. Maybe we'll get some other people on the video too. Peace.
Broke through Hive Day here. Thought about adding, just didn't do it. Working on my risk. Don't want to have that be affected right now. I just want to take everything smoothly, trade everything properly. My target here is going to be around the 90-cent area. So, see what we can do. In 2,000 shares at 81. Thought about adding 82. I definitely could have. Just didn't do it. it is a weird thing to believe or to understand that when you buy a stock and you're expecting it to go higher, for it to do so means someone else has to buy it at a higher price than you or a worse price than you. Um, Also, shorts covering as well, so it's not just all people buying, but mostly people buying, I'd say. And you kind of want to find out those spots where you know people are going to buy and you used to buy, but you've been doing it so long now that you see it coming and you get in early. That's the name of the game right there. So you could have bought in at 80. I waited for 81. Could have took 82, but I didn't do it. So we expect some kind of small pull to hold high of day and then a rip up to the 90s. That's the idea here. But the stop's going to be 79. So PEIX is pretty nice here. 847 is the breakout. 44. Stock is a little illiquid. Can't deny that. But we've got a news catalyst and a breakout above and decent volume, so definitely higher than the last couple of days. The multi-day breakouts at 87, 93, and 96, and ultimately $1. Some prints going off at 83. See if it can hold. So then we'll have some hidden buyers there, and that's always beautiful. Once it turns the corner, so to say, I have a feeling it's going to get chased up this big time. That's what happened last time. So we'll see. Maybe not. Gotta respect your risk. My target has to be a minimum of 87, really. 2 to 1. We prefer a little higher for the 3 to 1. I figure that as, 78 is my risk, 81 is my entry, 78 to 81 is 3 cents. So you want, 6 to 9 cents profit target. And last time we saw this too, some over 81 here, some big sellers came in, knocked it down, but it held beautifully. Rebought it back up pretty quickly, sideways. So we'll see. So far, I'm happy that I didn't buy the 82. Walk in the park here for sure. Wow. So executive order, graphite. Interesting. Man, this stock just won't stop. Man, I missed a couple $100 on that. It's tough. But who would have thunk it have done that, right? I was long. Show you the process here. Thought about taking this, but it was just straight down, straight up, so I didn't take it. And then I thought about taking this right over this high because it had the higher low, but just didn't do it. But then as it cooled up right here, that's where I got long. 7, 8, and then as it came up and broke 8 here, I got long again because of this 8-1 trigger on the daily chart, like an A, B, C, D on the daily. Anticipating that it breaks here, and then it just keeps going, keeps setting up. As you can see, that was a good trigger here. And I sold all mine right there. From here to here, and it's doubled. What can you do? So far, it's been pretty lackluster, to be honest. Pretty boring. But it is holding up well, and usually when they hold up weak like this, it's a sign of strength. Um, Now that it's broken high of day, I really don't want to risk it under 80. And the stop is 78, but that was if it insta stuff. Now that it's built up, I really want to risk 80. Could even risk this right here, 80.07, but I think 80 is probably ideal because I could see it dipping and then quickly spiking back up and going sideways for a second and then ripping again. We'll see. Cedel and Knight were selling at, what was it, 8199 earlier, and now they're back on the ask again at 8299. Interesting. There you go. Someone flopped the old 90,000 shares. This is an interesting spot right here. 825, hit 83. You could probably do that. You see a nice 8-3 slap. You could probably join it and risk this 825 area and expect it just to rocket. Some people would be scared of a 60K seller there, but it's nothing. Someone's just going to smack it around. As you can tell, someone slapped 90,000 shares like it was nothing, so 60,000 shouldn't be any big deal at all. It'd be ideal to see someone come up around like the 826 and then someone stack 827, 828, 829, and then we bust through. I might have to give that a slap. Whoa. And it goes down. Stock is amazing. Knight was a soaker earlier, so see if he can be a soaker on the bid as well. I'd love to see 82 hold. Ouch. And if it just fell straight through, then that's what happens. You see how now it's 83? Like, what the hell? The Seadale Knight ask lifted. I believe. $82.99 hits where the Seadale Knight ask were earlier. They don't appear to be on there, but is there a way to hide GSTM? Interesting. Now look at this. The bids are back up at 8199 with the Knight, which is the guy that was soaking it at 80. $82.99 is pretty enticing, but I'm just going to leave it alone. It's not the most liquid or comfortable trade for me, so I just want to rock my 81 entry and just be patient with it. No need to make all the money really quickly. Good to get back into a good mindset get back on the nice winning streak. Finish September off pretty nasty, actually. So I'd like to get back on a little winning streak here and just get back into a good mindset. And, maybe mid-month, if everything continues smoothly, then I'm going to up my size back up a little bit. And then by the end of the month, if everything's still going really good, then hopefully by November, when things really start to heat up like they normally do, I'll be back at my regular $200 risk and be able to make some real money come November and December and January, February, March, etc. But it all starts with here, working your pattern, doing what you're supposed to do, not getting scared out, just trusting it. So this stock, if it gaps up, I'm gonna have to buy a high day break. You just gotta do it. Like today, look. If you'd have bought over this high, 365, risking either 349 or even 355, it was a winner, big time. Never even went close to your entry. So same thing could happen tomorrow through 5, bust up to like 650. What I hope happens, we get a little gap up and stalls out, and then a couple red days near the highs, and then breaks out, like this pattern here. But just a little higher would be pretty cool. Yeah, my count third week of September was 25,700 or 25,650, something like that. And I had a nasty little losing streak on the last week and lost about 500 bucks and finished the month down 250, which was my first red month in over a year and a half. But right back on the horse, just trying to take it one day at a time here. So, and I already had a nice little winner this morning for 80 locked in. Knight back on the bid. He's not to be trusted, obviously, because he's one of the manipulators. GSTM is interesting because it was the Cdel and Knight. Cdel on the top, Knight on the bottom from 8199 and then 8299. And then now all of a sudden, it's like they've pulled together and went into a different market maker, GSTM, just to pretend like it's not the same guy selling. But I have a feeling it is. One thing to note, though, is that the stock loves to gap up after a good green day. So I might want to swing it and just sell it right at the open and then look to add it back on the first dip. Because you can also tell that there's wicks on the bottom of the candles, which means that dips are getting bought up. So I'd probably play the first dip or the second dip, depending on the action. If it's manipulated, I'd only probably play the first dip. But if it's smooth and you can just tell it's panic sells, then I might play the first two or three dips. That's the difference there. And dip buys are definitely my weakest strength. Because it's hard to nail something, and when you're dip buying, you're trying to nail the bottom. I have a feeling once we have a 83 print, we'll get to going. Interesting. So what I'm hoping for is over 8298 goes. I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see it start stuffing at 8299 again. That was less than ideal. But if it's going to have strength, it's going to have strength. I hate liquid stocks. They're just boring. Like most stocks are OTCs are pretty boring because they're just, tick by tick. I can handle this though. But when it starts to get like this and this, I don't like it. But all of this pretty much here. You're getting a good tick by tick ratio with volume. People are starting to notice that 8299 is becoming a wall and they want to get out. OTCX is usually a retail trader, usually, from what I've noticed. CBAT did it. I don't like buying over red days. Not my style, but it sure did work. But now I can put it on my watch list for it to re-break out the second time, which is more of my style. Interesting. Looks like some hidden size on the ask. Now at 825 is really not good. I think 90% of traders bought in at 82. So 82 fells now after all this consolidation above. I'm likely just going to have to get out. 81. Hopefully I'd fill at 81.7. I see some hard 82 prints. Just gotta do what you gotta do. We got the 825. Now we got CDL and GTS in on the ass. And where's the slapper crew at? Getting it over 1899, damn it. I don't like this play. Way too much overhead resistance for me. I'll take a breakout if the overhead resistance is like 40% away, the highs, or it's more than 6 months away. And this is less than 6 months away, and it's 70% from the highs, from here to down here. So, not a play for me, even if it works. Not ideal. If it works, then it'll set up most likely for the big time breakout. And that'll have a clean setup for me. A, B, C, D on the daily, just like A, B, C, D. Beautiful thing. And I have to give this to Slapper. And I want to so bad because, man, it's putting the work over Hive Day, 8299, 82. Really want it. Even though these has come in, they hold up weight pretty strong. Yeah, boring though, no doubt. Nice. My back.
All right, what's good? What's good? We are back. Same thing, nothing too crazy. I've eliminated most of my watch list. I'm down to 2, which is LACF and NWBO. Can you guys hear me all right? I'm just trying to make sure this everything's working the right way. I think it's good, but all right, good. Thank you. NWBO by far my favorite setup. This one's getting mentally exhausting, and I can kind of tell just based on what the stock is doing right now. It's hard to get a read on, and I just wanted to check in and make sure we're all keeping our minds right. Same thing, this LICF intraday pattern is phenomenal, but it's very slow. I'm on the wrong stock. Very slow, very methodical, very controlled. This is something that I'm very comfortable. This whole area here is something I'm very comfortable with loading up some shares just because it's so tight. We're getting the soda can type action, and we're starting to drill into these high-a-day sellers at 1-1. This isn't going anywhere quickly. If I'm going to be trading this, it'll probably be overnight. I was up to 10,000 shares. When it stuffed at 1-1, I cut half of that off for essentially a scratch, and I'm looking to add those last pieces back on over the high of the day. I thought if we broke through 108, 109, we would bust through 1-1 no problem. So I decided to cut that just in case. Not a bad little play there. MMEDF. I'm not very good at this part of the play either. I like more consolidation near the top. NWBO is going to be a tough watch here. I'm not sure what the vibe is on this quite yet, but they're doing a lot of work to keep it underneath the previous highs in the 83 to 84 range. So if we start losing that 82 cent range and that support that was holding all day long or all afternoon long, similar to you guys, I'll probably be cutting some of my position off. I have a lot of size, and if this is going to be the case, we might be setting something up for a future breakout, and today might not be that day. That's fine with me too. Whatever works, as long as we get that nice move, that would be phenomenal. GTSM has stepped in as a major player on both the bid and the ask side, along with CDEL. We're seeing NITE a little bit, and then OTCX is throwing in random 10,000 share orders. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. We're not getting this nice, smooth price action like we wanted. This is it does help to get a good entry down here in the 80 cent range. My average is at like 87, so 0.807. Which is pretty solid, but we're starting to chip away at these bids, and it's not looking too pretty. OTCX continues to hold it down along with CDEL and GTSM. So I'm just going to watch this thing here. Once we lose 82 cents a share, which is becoming more likely as time goes on. We should not be getting these massive 5-minute red candles and these massive drops in price action. So I'm pretty confident that I won't be making a ton of money on this position, but I'm going to stick through, kind of stick to my risk like I usually do and just see what we can make of it. NWBO will be on high watch for the next week, maybe even 2 weeks while it consolidates a little bit. But CDEL, as soon as it hops on, and now we got GTSM and CDEL holding 82 again, chipping away at these OTCX. So it looks like we got hidden size everywhere. I don't know if sellers or insiders are trying to get off a bunch of shares or what exactly. But that was a very, very impressive hold. So maybe I'm actually incorrect and we will get a nice move to the upside. 83 I thought was going to do it, and I was pretty convicted at that point. I added a bunch of shares back on and took them off pretty much immediately when we stuffed. 82 cents for sure is going to be my risk on this play because I don't like seeing stocks hold all day long at certain levels above previous highs of the day and then come right back down. Does that mean the play is dead? No, but I've sized in to use this as my risk, and then if I lose 82, very likely that I catch some slippage and I end up break even or smaller profit than initially anticipated. Keeping close eye on LACF. Don't let me take my eyes off that for too long. Well, this is the longest I've sat in front of my computer in a couple of weeks, and it's been fun to just kind of get back to my roots and just try to get a feel for these plays. I remember when I was first starting, this was very mentally exhausting watching a slow move of 3 cents, over the course of 3 hours. And I've gotten to a point where my quote-unquote mental stamina is much better than it was before, and I can sit here pretty comfortably and watch no problem. LACF, once we get through the CSTI big seller, we're looking pretty good. Hard risk on that 105, 106 level with my full position, so we'll kind of see where we're at from there. Not a very good daily chart, but it does have a good history of running. But like I said, there is a little bit of overhead to think about, but we've talked about this before. Once you have enough time in between now and the previous massive spike, all of these bounces are an opportunity for anybody stuck, all the bag holders, to get out of that position. So we probably aren't looking too bad for a multi-day run to the 120s, 130s, 140s, and I'd like to be able to stay patient if possible. But I'm not quite sure yet either. NWBO, we're kind of sitting right around that volume level. It's either going to take a dump here and we aren't going to get that 7, 8, 9 million that we needed, 10 million shares today, or we'll get this nice end of day move like we were hoping for. This is kind of the name of the game with this stock. You get nothing, and then massive volume. So if that's going to happen today, then fine, we'll take that and we'll make our money, possibly even swing it. But if not, we just have to live with it and understand. You can't fight history. We understand how this thing works. It's happened plenty of times. Similar on the day that I didn't even have this on my radar. Actually, that wasn't even the right day. It was over here. I believe it was Stratty who mentioned this one. It just went sideways all day long and then massive volume into the close. So if we don't, and that was the first time. Second time was, let me see here. Yeah, second time was back here. Same sort of thing on. What's the difference? Setup? Maybe I'm crazy. Let me go back. There and there. Yeah. So this is not anything that we should be surprised with. And then even here, so this is 3 times that this stock really gets going. This one came out of the midday session, but volume comes in quickly, hard, and the price action is very easy to follow, and you really don't get executed much. We're seeing some execution problems just because that's what this stock is and what it does. It's very frustrating, very HNCKF, the fuck. I'm not going to take that one. So, like I said, I'm just watching. I'm not really convicted either way. I'm just going to see how 82 cents does. If we lose 82 cents, I'll cut it. If not, I'll look to add some shares and then maybe swing some into the hopefully high 80s and possibly even low 90s or maybe even $1 a share at some point if we get enough moving. We're right through 70 or 83 cents again, which is pretty cool. We're about to break through, or at least we're looking like we might break through LACF.
This might be the ripper right here.
1-1.
They had to shake out the weak hands, and then now
Picture
we're gonna
perfect play. I have a lot of shares of NWBO too, probably more than I should, and this is even less than I had about 20 minutes ago. So I have to be very careful with what I do here. What am I at right now? A little over 25K shares, which is a lot for a stock that moves up and down without very good execution. So I'm playing it very safe and looking to get out in small increments if necessary. Is there any news on HNCKF? Anybody notices that one? They just mentioned that in the other room. I'm not sure. It's a nice little multi-day breakout, but no volume. Yeah. Oh, Sykes bought it? Oh, my mic was covering my phone. Was it actually breaking out to new highs, or did he break it out to new highs? Or did he get long? 75? Oh, I guess that wasn't really Sykes. It's a metals play, so yeah, that makes sense. Still not my type of play, not my type of price action at all. NWBO. God, I love this NWBO. I got a couple lines here, just this previous resistance, and then my risk levels here. I'm not looking at much besides that. It seems like every time we break through a new resistance level on NWBO, we immediately slap the other side on the bid. So it's kind of just a cat and mouse game right now, which is not necessarily fun to watch, but it's put in a lot of work and it has not gone very far. It's at a little bit above 10%. So if we get some end of day runs through 83.5 and 84, we're going to be looking pretty good for an 85 to 90 move in the next hour or possibly into tomorrow.
Yeah, what I want to see is a big gap up.
Okay, and see why. I saw we're talking about it being a little tempting here. Yeah, not bad for a scalp if you could make it happen. I did not capture any of this move here. I tried for this one. I made like 2 or 3 cents a share. It was a waste of my time. Just a little bit off in that timing. Looks like LICF's going to break here. But it's going to be met by another, massive group of sellers. So it's got some work to do, that's for sure. I put some more shares on there. I got one more piece up to 7,500 total on that one. And we'll see what the momentum is going to look like. I might try to get up to 10K here. Depends on what fills, what doesn't. I'm not sure what to expect yet. Typically when I'm touching these high day breaks, if they stuff and only go up to 111, you're not going to be seeing much from me. I won't be around very long because I just can't. I can't make a case for buying a high day break that breaks 1 cent. I know it's a slow mover, but if we go to 101 and then back down to 108, 107, like there's just nothing for me to make money on there. I like predictable price action that leads to explosive plays into the close. NMEDF, yeah, not bad. And this definitely looks like something TJ would be nailing, and I would not be. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. gonna try. This is one where LIACF it's unfortunate, but you really can't trade it based off the level 2. It's something that is completely price action based because you see the bids and the asks disappear like it's nothing. They'll disappear, then the orders will show up, and then everything will happen. It's just such a weird stock, and we're getting weird orders going through. Very strange. It's in kind of the category with OPTI and all those shitters that I don't like. But even those shitty stocks, I have to take the price action when it's there. I like the volume today. No catalyst. Looks like HK, HN, CKF. So it looks like the metal stocks are trying to run, or the battery stocks, whatever sector we're looking at here. So I got to give them a chance to at least do something. NWBO trying really hard in these 82 cent level. What am I missing? Is there any other stocks out there that I'm not seeing yet? I miss the 10-cent stocks. Yeah, me too. My favorite price range is anywhere between, for me, I like 20 cents to probably that dollar range. That's my sweet spot. Anything below that is kind of a shit show for me. But I love, like NWBO, I love this price range here. When it was trading above, 35 cents, I'm all about that. I have a lot of money invested, but my risk is still very much intact. And that's really cool. That's the goal, obviously, is to be able to invest a lot and get a lot of size, a lot of shares safely so you can capture these massive moves. Man, my voice is not doing good. The smoke up here in Sacramento is really getting to me. Hopefully we're coming off the backside of those pretty soon, because it's been a tough couple of months over here. NWBO. When you start to get kind of mentally exhausted, or you're starting to get a little bit uncomfortable, kind of zoom it out a little bit like I've done in the past. Look at the 5-minute, look at the 15-minute, and really make sure you're seeing make sure you can put a reason to your fear. It's not just your emotions that are getting the best of you. And right now, NWBO, I was starting to get a little bit unsure what's going to happen. What is this? What is that? But as long as 82 is holding today, and even if 82 does fail, I'm probably okay. VWAP's down here around my entry. We're probably okay, but I have to go with my risk level and the way I sized in. The more relentless we are with NWBO here at 83, the more confident I am at end of day run. They continue to stack it up, it gets taken out. They continue to stack it up, it gets taken out, but then they support below that in the 82 cent range, and stack 82.5, 82.6, and now retrying 83. I love what I'm seeing here. We just took out the 83.01 seller that was here, and then we just protected 83 again. So I'm really liking that. That's going to definitely bode well for us moving forward into the close. Love this little range here. This is a perfect soda can. If it does exactly what NWBO likes to do and waits until the end of the day here, that'll be so much fun to get through 84, 85, 86 into the close. We'll see. I'd like to see these bids stack up a little bit better than we are now. They're trying hard, but it's not good enough yet. So I'm sitting comfortable at NWBO, and I'm really not in a rush to add, and I might not even add any more anyways, but I'm sitting at 27,000 shares, a little bit above that actually, and then 10,000 of LIACF. Looking to maybe hold this thing into tomorrow if possible. I think 115 is more than possible. I think the 1-2 level, maybe even 125, 1-3 is in the cards as well. So trying to get good entries, that's the name of the game in a slow market, is really make sure you can get a good entry at the right prices. LICF was nailing this right at that level, was watching it all day, took some shares at 108, 109, and then reloaded a couple shares back on at 1-1 when it actually became a high day break and a continued breakout. LTUM, another battery play. LTUM. All right, let me check that one out. Lithium Corporation. Very cool. Volume's coming in pretty heavily. And not a bad little watch here. Today will be tough to play. Just watching. Hey, look at that. Nice work on NWPO. This looks like, rather than a lot of hard work, it looks like whoever's controlling this stock is just starting to give up on the play. Or maybe not even give up. Maybe this is what they wanted all along anyway. So I'm going to watch 84 cents for a possible move and maybe get some shares on if possible. I'm really liking what I'm seeing, but I don't want to just randomly stab 84 here with no support and be automatically down 1 cent a share on this ad. If I don't get any shares on, it's okay. I'm still going to play it safe even though I have room to add. Love what I'm seeing here. Stacking up this way, I'd like to see us go stack like 82.2 or 82.5 convincingly and then continue to build that foundation. We talk about that all the time too. Sell half of the 90s, swing the rest. Wow, if you think it's going to get the 90s today, that's pretty bold. I don't disagree with you, but it's pretty bold. Got 40 minutes left. Definitely possible, but I want to be... Yeah, I mean, I'd like to... 87... See, I thought I was looking at 87 too, but it's not really correlated with much volume. So here's our 83.5. GTSM has been a market maker that's been very... it's been very active so far. OTCX, CDEL as well. Those are the top 3 market makers moving this stock. So I'm watching those personalities, seeing what they're doing. As far as 87 goes, there's just not enough volume here to really be correlated with much. I don't think. This is a very weak attempt. Had 400,000 shares on those couple of candles, but all in all, the daily chart does not show that 87 is going to be much of an issue for us. I could be wrong, but that's going to be my initial assumption. But there's no wrong sell on the way up here. Oh, wrong stock. What the fuck? There's no wrong sell anywhere between now and $1 a share. I mean, like I said, we're in the business of growing small accounts. I get a lot of questions from people that, kind of put me in a higher bracket of trading, and I still don't consider myself anything but a small account trader. I have pretty large size in this account right now, and in these trades, I'm invested a little over, actually probably close to $35,000 total between these 2 plays right now, but my risk is $200 to $400 total. I'm not risking much money. Still small account management. Any sell in this range I'll be happy with. And if you're still growing a small account like myself, any sells in these ranges is going to be just fine. In a slow market, I need to make a video actually, probably recapping September and just kind of go over what's been working for me and what hasn't. But we've seen a lot of those midday failures. We've seen a lot of those morning spikes. My interpretation of September's market was people started to get the feel that it was slowing down pretty big, and the morning trade started getting pretty crowded. And everything that was running in the morning, we would just attack, and it would get exhausted by the midday session and just completely fail. So when something is able to sustain the morning and the midday session and then continue higher into the afternoon, that's when I want to attack in a slower market. I'm not going to gamble on the first 2/3 of the trading day. I'm going to wait and make sure that this stock is 100% doing what I want it to do. And I would be completely warranted taking NWBO 82 cents a share if I hadn't gotten to my computer earlier and seen the 80 cent break. That was a beautiful break at 80 cents. Very nice VWAP hold-ish area. Consolidation, news catalyst, good morning volume. Beautiful little setup. And my time of day is still in this range here, 11 a.m., so 2 p.m. and on. I love the NWBO just kind of held that breakout again. 399 or 83.99. Beautiful. 84 is going to be really tough to slap, though. We don't get executed very easily on this thing. And what happens when we get this massive end-of-day move? It's typically followed by huge volume and a couple of very large candles to sell into. Definitely will not be swinging this much size. I just can't. I simply just can't swing this much and be comfortable with it. Would you consider LIACF and NWO A+ setups? All right, I'm going to challenge you, Hayden, to answer that question for me. I want you to tell me what you think about those before I answer that question. Because, yes, I think there's one of them is an A+ setup for me, and the other one is not. And what's actually funny is, I'll let you answer that, actually. Give it some thought, and then we'll kind of... I'll go. Actually, anybody can answer that question if you'd like. I want to see if you can think similarly to myself and why. I'll call you back in a second. I like the price action, but low percent up on the day and overhead resistance makes me think otherwise. Okay, good. I like what I'm saying, plus no catalyst and LIACF. Yes, so that is exactly why I would not necessarily categorize LIACF as an A+ setup for me. That's my way of interpreting the market because, yes, there's no catalyst. We're kind of riding some of this. We're kind of riding some of the random, metals, lithium, battery plays that Tesla kind of sparked for us. But there's no catalyst today. There wasn't really a catalyst when this was running the first time either. It was just sector momentum. So I'm going to take predictable price action. This is an A+ intraday chart, but when it's not matched up with an A+ daily chart, personally, I do not attack it with my full size and my full position or full risk. Probably cutting it in half and taking predictable profits. I think it's more I still think you can get to 115, 116, 117. I'm not buying 111 and trying to sell it for 112, 113. That's just not why I buy a stock, is for a cent or two. But something like NWBO, also right now, probably not an A+ setup. And why is that? It's because we still have quite a ways to get to the full breakout, and we still have $1 a share of that. So nothing right now is an A+ setup, but I see NWBO potentially setting up as an A+ setup, which is why I'm being aggressive with it now. That's a skill that you might not have for a while until you spend a little more time trading stocks. But I'm able to kind of see the future, if you will, with what they're trying to do here, especially with new catalysts. I think this thing has a very good chance of possibly breaking out over 84 today, and then 87, 88, 90, and then breaking previous highs. And I want to be positioned for that move. And this one has a catalyst, so that's a lot better off than most. That already puts it head and shoulders above LIACF. You combine NWBO with the news catalyst, the daily chart, and the volume pop today, or increase. I would say NWBO is probably a B+ setup with potential to be an A+ in the near future. LIACF is C+ at best. And I will attack those accordingly. If Tesla was running today and had news, and that's why this was running, fuck yeah, I'm going to attack this one and, try to swing it to 125, 135, 14, maybe even 15 if it wants to get going. History of multi-day runs, very nice little price action here, good volume. 1, 2, 3, 4, then even day 5 had a nice gap. So I know the history, I know the potential, but without a catalyst, I'm not banking on any of that happening. And there we are, LACF all the way back down to where I entered, which isn't bad necessarily because this is very controlled, very steady price action. As long as we hold this 105, 106 range, I'm comfortable. As long as this dip does hold, this is pretty solid support here, 109, 108. Already held twice, so when stocks hold 2 or 3 times already and then start breaking that down, it makes me pretty uncomfortable for a swing. I'd rather take a loss than gamble overnight. 108 should hold. We should see 109 be better support, and maybe even 110 just be the support. We have 30 minutes left in the day, plenty of time to continue going. And NWBO is just stuck right here. So when OTCX decides it wants to lift, or we get some more big bids here, we'll kind of see where we're at from there. That was a good question. I like that. Anybody else got a question for me? That's a good one to answer while we're waiting on price action. That's another good one. What are you hoping for? Let's see. What are you hoping for daily chart wise in the coming days on LK and CY? It's a good question. I like that. I already deleted that from the watch list today because I don't want to look at it anymore. Where's that stock at? There you are. LK and CY. So, like I said, unfortunately, I was not able to capture this because I wasn't home. Frustrating. I'm trying to make sure I don't revenge trade this or let it affect the rest of my trading this week or this month. What I'd like to see from this thing is, one, I'd like to see another catalyst, something to give it another reason to keep pushing this $5 a share. I will not be touching it anywhere in this range, at least for the time being. Anything right now, I'm not going to be touching it. If this decides to go sideways and consolidate between, the high 3s and the mid 4s, and, maybe we get a little tighter, boom, soda can all the way through these highs at 420. Maybe we start pushing those high 4s and maybe even get a breakout of 5. I'm not quite sure I even understand why this is moving. I'm pretty sure Luck and Coffee had some fraud issues, if I'm not mistaken. Can anybody confirm that? Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure why or why not. Maybe because the fraud issues are now cleared up and we don't have anything to worry about. I don't really know why it's spiking. That's why I wasn't super convicted buying it over this second day after a big failure on day one here. Broke out, failed completely, it rebounded, was a lot less crowded, and now, chasers are chasing all the way up. Because punishment was a slap on the wrist. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to put that. Sean's actually kind of a cool way to say that too. It must have been a short. Everybody's shorting it, and now we're getting squeezed out. Especially on this day that failed here, this could just be a massive short squeeze, and then people realizing that it's a breakout, not actually seeing any issues with fraud because nobody does research anymore. They just see spiking and they buy it. That's the new world we live in. And I have a hard time adapting, buying stocks that were already down on fraud and now breaking out to new highs. It's probably a flaw in my trading, but I'm okay with that. Especially trading from my phone, it's just not safe trading something like this with that kind of catalyst. They thought the punishment was going to be much worse, and it was just a slap on the wrist. Yeah. Okay. I guess that's kind of a catalyst. That's essentially like a earnings winner when they expected earnings to be bad, but they're not as bad as they thought, so it spikes. So tough read there. without a doubt, definitely a tough read, but it is what it is. So since the price action has been so good, I would definitely say it's more bullish than bearish at this point, just due to what's been going on. Nice volume perk, and we still haven't had a massive blow off top volume day back up to the 15, 20, 30 million range. So what do I want on this yet? I'm not going to try to anticipate or try to get any idea of what I want exactly. I'm just going to sit here and get a feel for what they want to do. I know for a fact if it keeps spiking here, I'm not trading it anytime soon. If I do, it'd be on some predictable intraday scalp on a massive swizzle or something like that. I can't see that happening. I really can't. But an example of that would be if you have a really good feel for this play here and you want to take it over $4 a share and you take it for 10 cents. That would be an example of a small scalp along the way. I'm not going to be buying and holding for multiple days without a doubt. E35 still holding. LACF, very nice. This is why I positioned myself well to hold through those dips. And I did have a good idea what this was going to do into the close. So as long as this pattern continues to go, spike, dip, consolidate, hold, spike, dip, consolidate, hold, and then ideally we see a new high into the close. That would be my favorite way to go out, but I won't. That may or may not happen. I don't know. They got fined $9 million on 9/22 and ended up spiking from 2.7 to 3.5. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that smart. I don't really try to be that smart. It's just react and see what happens. When something I don't understand starts to happen like that, I don't understand why it's spiking, even though it's only a slap on the wrist. It's still not a good company. It's still fraud. They're still not very. They're not doing well. They're in trouble for fraud. So it is what it is. But NWBO, nice little move through 3.5. And we're starting to get a little tighter here. I don't like that there's no bid support between 2.5 and 3.5. That's definitely not ideal. I'd like to see them show some bid support, but at least it's CDEL that's holding it up for the time being. ETRF starting to pop in. I haven't seen that one for a while, so. What a fun day. I really was expecting this week to be just as slow as the previous couple. LTUM was interesting. Did anybody take LTUM? I didn't take it. Wasn't even on the radar. It doesn't know. God, look at this soda can price action, though. Not even necessarily on the level 2, but just the intraday price action here, just starting to really tighten up. So they are shaking the soda can. We'll see if they actually explode it into the close or if they just let it go. Everything so far is showing me that they want this thing higher. I would love to keep a 15, 20,000 share core all the way up for the possible big breakout. Not sure I'll be able to hold all 28,000 that I have right now. 27.8, yeah, that's close enough. And this is the reason why, is because we just don't have any bid support right now. Man, this is fun to watch. Fucking love stock trading.
Yikes.
And like I said before, I'm still very much prepared for this to fail in a day. Even though I love this stock, I know what it's capable of, I'm very prepared for it to fail. If you're at this point and you are going to be, the rest of your day is going to be awful if this doesn't hold up, you got to figure something out there. Until every play is on, this is not even close to on yet. Over 84, this would be a nice play. That would set up something nice as well for tomorrow and the rest of the week. But if not, it is what it is. I'm not going to. I expect failure until it proves me wrong. And we're almost all the way through 113 on LACF too. Wow, nice play. We just can't seem to. The ask is starting to thicken up nicely into the close with 20 minutes left. So they might be doing their best job holding it down and setting up something later this week instead. We'll see. Looks like we're through high a day too. Very nice. Very happy with my average over there. 10,000 shares, 109. The bids will be very telling in this area. Very, very telling between 825 and 8283, essentially. Be very telling how they do here and how the ask reacts. And how the buyers react to all of it. This is why I hate stocks like LACF. It's so fucking annoying waiting for all these 1 cent high day breaks and then right back down. 1 cent high day break, back down. This is probably going to fail in the close too. I'll probably be cutting this for a loss under 108 right now. I was up $400 just a second ago, and here we are. There's just no momentum in these shit plays. No catalyst. Shitty daily chart. Choppy as hell. That's just not my style. I'm not patient enough for it. It's just another flaw of mine.
Oh, Z-Mob. Remember this guy?
Sykes just bought LTUM. I think might actually go forever. Watch LTUM be the best play of the day. Yeah, I see nothing wrong with cutting NWBO up here. We're just not getting the best price action into the close. I'm going to give it a second. I'll probably start selling when we lose these bids here. I'm going to give them a chance to lose support a little bit. CDEL, GTSM, and NIT still holding strong. Doing their very best to hold 827, but I'm not sure how it's going to end up. All right, I'm out most of my position. All right, I'm out the full position. Kind of a shame because I wanted to stay patient for this nice play and hold the core from my nice 80 cent level. But in this market, I'm just not confident enough to hold through any kind of weird end of day dips on a play that's really not a play yet. This was an anticipation buy over, for a potential breakout in the future, and it's looking pretty likely that this comes back down and sets up something in the future. This is a nice setup day, though. This does not mean this is a waste of a day or it's a completely failed play. It's just not quite ready yet. At least that's my interpretation of it. So I'm holding strong through LIACF dips, even though it's going to kill me in the end, because I have no patience. And I'll probably look to swing the majority of that position. I might take off a small piece depending on how we close here, but we'll see. We got a massive wall here at 113, which is below a high a day. and we'll see how it closes. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you. Nice job. Good management on NWBO. The play is by nowhere near being dead. Like, for sure, nowhere near being dead. It's just not something in this market I want to be super speculative with on a day that's still technically mid-range and not actually a breakout yet. I will catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Yeah, so started off strong, around like 600-700, finished off the month with a $500 losing streak, which put me down 250. So, but so far so good. Just being patient, taking what the market gives me. I was up 100 on this one, stayed patient, only ended up with 10. Happy with it. Overall, happy. So, hope you liked the video. Peace out, guys.